Kamala Harris and her campaign team will hope that this is a glimpse into a presidential future. The Democratic Party candidate as vice president meeting Ukraine's President Zelenskyy. He was here to outline his plan for victory over Russia, but she chose to frame the stakes a different way. Ukraine's fate if Donald Trump was to win in November.
There are some in my country who would instead force Ukraine to give up large parts of its sovereign territory. These proposals are the same of those of Putin.
A little earlier, Zelenskyy had been with the outgoing president, Biden, with a last-ditch call for permission to use Western missiles deep inside Russia.
I raised with President Biden the plan of victory. Today we are preparing to discuss the details to strengthen the plan.
And that's exactly what we're going to discuss today. Now the Ukraine, how is Ukraine going to prevail in this conflict?
But behind the smiles and the assurance of more weapons, the American president would not budge on striking Russia. Volodymyr Zelenskyy was back in Washington.
Mr. President, can you bring an end to this war?
Of course we have to.
With a plan for victory which hinges on the use of long-range missiles. It was to Capitol Hill first and the top Republican and Democratic Party leaders. And where there has been political disagreement, at the top of both parties here at least, they understand now Zelenskyy's plea.
His number one request was to have more permissive use of long-range missiles to hit legitimate military targets. He believes if he could shut down those Russian air bases and missile bases that are attacking his country, that would give him leverage to get Putin to the table. I believe that too.
The problem is Putin, announcing changes to Russia's nuclear doctrine, the warning that any use of long-range missiles inside Russia would effectively be a declaration of war by the West. If some think this is a bluff, well, President Biden remains characteristically cautious. The other problem for Zelenskyy is American politics. He knows that Donald Trump could well win in November and that he has his own peace plan for Ukraine.
A deal could have been made if we had a competent president instead of a president that egged it all on.
It involves freezing the conflict along the current front line and giving land to Russia. Ukraine's future and its geography is to a huge extent dependent on what happens here in November. Mark Stone, Sky News in Washington.